Tessa, Nia, congratulations on this
you.
exquisite and beautiful film.
Thank you so much.
Tessa, I want to start with you because the last time we spoke was for Creed 2.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about kind of icons that you were channeling, icons like Rihanna, icons like Grace Jones, you said at the time as well. This time around, when I first heard your accent in this, I just thought to myself, there's a bit of royalty in there.
Yes, totally.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I was going to ask, was there anyone in particular that you were embodying or not even embodying, because you're obviously embodying Hedda, but kind of channeling through this performance?
There was a lot of things, but I was definitely like, what if we inched slightly closer to the Queen's English? What if there is this idea of like a real kind of poshness? She slightly comes from that, but is reaching towards that. So I was really inspired. And I got lucky because my dialect coach, William Kochner, also did all the dialect work for The Crown. So even though we couldn't go like full on Queen's English, I would do that on lunch breaks just with him because I just thought it was so fun
and he'd be like,
to do.
Girl, watch
and
it.
he'd be like, don't do that on set,
bring that to the
please.
I just think Queen for a Queen. Why not?
Right? But we were borrowing slightly from that world of sounds, which was period appropriate, obviously. Yeah.
And what I love so much about this, and it's what you kind of did in the directing, is Hedda this time around. You know, when it comes to her own sexuality, there was a fluidity to it, both men and women. And I know, Tess, you've been very open with your sexuality and exploring fluidity in your work as well. So did that kind of element of Hedda make it more emotionally accessible to you? And was that easier for you as a director as well to tap into?
Well, you know what? It's funny. Hedda's queerness came from Eileen being switched and from being a woman in this version and not a man. And it's something I did in isolation. I was like, okay, this makes sense for this character. And then I was like, oh, everyone's queer. Interesting. Okay. And then as I was developing further, I was like, oh, that queerness actually gives so much to the story and so much to the character. And I don't even know if you knew when I asked you to play Hedda that was going to be an element of the character.
No, I didn't. That wasn't even a part of it. And funnily, obviously, it's a part of her story, but in this, I have a similar, I think, relation. Like, if you asked Hedda how she'd identify, it's 1954, so she would have been like, what? But
what?
but I think also for her, she's kind of like, I just do what I want, and I just and in a similar way for me, I've never felt defined by any of that, and I don't personally, while I think it's really important for people to have folks that I identify and feel like they exemplify areas of representation, I don't personally, like, that's never fit too comfortably on me. I don't label myself as any one thing. I don't feel the pressure to. So for me, I think the thing that really resonated with me more than had a sexual identity or any of that, is just her humanity. Is just trying to really make sure that she's a well-drawn person and not too much focused on identity, I think.
I love that. And kind of on that note, what qualities of Tessa made her so perfect for this version of Hedda?
Typecasting, baby.
Typecasting. I was like, well, this
Here we go. Lap this up.
She loves shooting guns. No.
Although that is a bonus.
I know. She really excels at portraying characters who have a lot going on inside, but can't show it for either because they feel they can't or they don't want to. And I was really, besides just loving her as an actor, I think she can do anything. But in particular, I've seen her do that so beautifully. She did it in Passing. She did it in Sylvie's Love.
Repression.
Repression.
Yeah.
She's repressed.
I'm just repressed.
She's so repressed. No, I think, as a performer, she because that's a hard thing to do, to show and cover at the same time and to wear masks and to let people into the mask, like in those moments when they're switching or it's like, it's specific work, and she excels at that, and her level of research and her specificity and how she builds the character, I've always admired. So I knew that a character as complex as Hedda, she would be able to do.
And just finally, because what Hedda was so good at is 1 minute she's the life and soul of the party. Everyone dance, darling, dance, get the drink. But then the next minute she's retreating into little rooms to have intimate conversations. As artists, how do you guys decide when to let the audience in and then when to hold something back?
Oh, that's such a good question. No one's asked us that.
Yeah, no, that Congrats, by the way. First
Yeah.
time
Thank
on that one, yeah.
Thank you.
That's so
I was going to
cool.
say it's my aim to get a good question, so
No,
like,
no,
thank
no,
you.
it's great.
Life made.
I think sometimes this is an interesting thing. I feel like sometimes when you're telling a story, there can be this impulse to make sure that everything's understood because you don't want the character or what you're trying to say to be misunderstood. And I think there's a certain level of ambiguity, certainly at the end of our film, that we wanted to dare ourselves to allow to exist, and that can feel scary, frankly, and kind of edgy. But I think that was sort of an aim for us.
Yeah, I think it's a constant recalibration, or just you're calibrating like in the script, on the day, in the edit, always calibrating. And it's not just performance or a cut here or there. It's also music. How is music telling us how she feels or doesn't feel, or how's music leading us? How is the framing going to tell us like what to feel about this moment, and how could framing maybe contrast what she's saying? It's always built into everything that the movie is. But yeah, I think I think we knew really strongly what we wanted to do, and so it's just always making sure we were going towards that.
Amazing. Well, I could chat all day, but I'm being told to wrap. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Lovely meeting you.
It was so good
It's
to
so
see you
good to see you
again.
too.